you for stopping by. You're listening to Aspire and Reach for More with Gessy Martinez, providing you with insight and encouragement for healing emotions, finding hope after loss, and helping in reaching your dreams. Today, we're going to focus on what to do when we feel restless. In this episode, we'll look at what it means to be emotionally and physically restless or unsettled, and what are some of those reasons why we become restless. We will aspire and reach for more in our lives by becoming restful instead of restless. Last episode, we talked about emotional burnout, which adds to this conversation of being restless. So what does it look like when someone is restless, either physically or emotionally? When someone is physically restless, you can see it all over them. They look anxious, they're not paying attention. A restless person is edgy, they're moving from this to that, from one activity to another, from one idea to the next. They never seem settled down. People who are fidgety or tense make other people around them feel insecure and nervous. A restless mind is constantly racing. It's busy thinking and it's trying to sort things out. And when you have this restless mind, it can lead to not sleeping well. Being restless can also affect your mental and physical health. Your mind needs to be able to slow down, to process information, and to make good quality decisions. When your physical body is restless, it's in a state of stress, and therefore it becomes difficult to maintain that constant state of stress. Your body at that time is releasing adrenaline and cortisol stress hormones, and it feels like you're in a constant state of emergency. This is why we want to reduce those feelings of restlessness when we're feeling physically like we just can't sit still, when we're feeling physically restless. Now, there's another sort of restlessness that many of us experience, and that's to be emotionally restless. And what does that look like? When you are emotionally restless, it feels like you're being stuck, like you're stuck where you are, you're stuck not wanting to be at this particular job or this place in life, that you want to be somewhere else, but you can't seem to move forward. And your mind feels like, I should be there, but I'm here. And how do I get from here to there? And that brings about dissatisfaction. Emotionally restless people are often unhappy, they're unsettled, and they can't always explain to you why they feel that way. And you see that they're frustrated. Well, let's look at some of the reasons. And here are some of the thoughts that someone who is experiencing that emotional restlessness, who feels unsettled, would kind of think to themselves. Thoughts like, it's feeling like I'm not where I want to be in life. Or they have thoughts like, I thought I would be doing something else by now. Their thoughts could also range to, I feel like life has passed me by and everyone else is doing better. This is when they find themselves comparing themselves to other people, right? That I'm not where I want to be. I thought I'd be somewhere else by now. And the sense that life has passed them by and everyone else is doing better. This idea that somehow whatever the measuring stick is for being successful or doing well, they're not measuring up. And when you feel like you're not measuring up to people in your life, to peers, to family members, that's going to cause frustration. Other thoughts that someone who's dealing with emotional restlessness would have would be things like, I want, and then you can fill in the blanks. I want the house, I want the car, I want the relationship, and I want it now. That sense of I want this right now would make you feel restless because you're not willing to wait for the right time or for it to come later. You want it now. Other thoughts could be, why is nothing working? When you're restless, you don't think about the things that are working. You think about the things that are not working. And so you might find yourself asking the question, why is nothing working? I'm trying everything, but nothing seems to be working for me. Sometimes it sounds like the thought of, when I'm here, I want to be somewhere else. When I get there, I want to be back in the old place. When someone is dealing with being emotionally restless, wherever they are is not exactly where they want to be. They feel uncomfortable and they always want to get to that next place or back to the old place where they thought they were comfortable, but when they were there, they truly weren't settled. It's not feeling comfortable in your own skin, not feeling comfortable in the place that you're at, not feeling comfortable with the people that you're with, because that restlessness is coming from inside of you, not necessarily the situation around you. Another thought people would have if they're dealing with emotional restlessness is, I switched jobs, but I'm still not happy. This is when you think the solution is, well, it must be the job. So if I get another job, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be comfortable. Then I'll feel like I'm in the right place and the right fit. Or some people will move around a lot, and the thought will be, I moved, but I'm still not happy. If they don't find that calm, that restlessness is still there and still active, they'll think, well, I did the thing that I was supposed to do, but I'm still not feeling different. And then if the restlessness has to do with relationships, thought might be, well, I left the relationship, but now I'm lonely and I'm not happy, because they thought at the time that the reason that they were feeling restless had to do with the relationship. So let's go a little further with this. Let's look at how you can change this. The emotional restlessness comes from being unsatisfied or unfulfilled. The thing, the person, the job, or the place that you thought would change everything did not live up to your expectations. You're not happier or better off because of the solution, whether it was the better job or the house or the car. It didn't solve the real problem. Now, this can cause someone to become frustrated because they were legitimately trying to fix a problem. They were trying to feel better, but you did not fail because you were trying to feel better. You did make the effort. You were aware that something needed to change and that something was kind of off center for you, and you did try to change it. Now the work is identifying what the real problem was that you were trying to solve. For example, you might not need a new job. It might be a different position. If you're the type of person that thrives and gets excited about working with people, and now you're stuck working with machines all day, you're not in a place that fits your need to work with people and get the benefits and the joy that comes from it. So in that situation, it's not about changing the job, it's more about changing the position. Now, if you're feeling restless because you think, I should have that house by now, I'm behind all my peers and my family members, they all have houses. The solution in this case is not the house. The stress and the restlessness is coming from comparison. The question you might want to ask is, why do I feel like I don't measure up? What will the house do for me? Is it about feeling accepted, worthy? Is it about feeling equal or successful? If the house is really about having a home, what if you had to wait 5 or 10 years for the best house? Not any house, but the best house, the one that fits your needs, the one that you would be excited and thrilled to come to. Would you settle for any house just to feel like you made it? Or would you wait for the best house for you? To address the restlessness, you have to look at what is causing you to be so uncomfortable. Your expectations of yourself may be unrealistic and unfair. Your timelines may be too short, thinking it's now or never. By next year or by next month, I have to have this thing done. These timelines will bring on more pressure and more stress. You may also want to look at your motivation. If your motivation is about pleasing other people and not really about what you want, then you're going to be restless because you're doing it for somebody else and not truly being honest with yourself about what you want. You can also look at, maybe you're in competition with someone who doesn't know that you're in competition with them and also doesn't care that you're in competition with them. So you can help solve some of that anxiety and that restlessness by taking yourself out of being in competition with your peers or with your family members, because there's no need for it. Now, your vision could also be limited. When we're restless, we think that the place that we're in now is not the right fit. And so we start to think, this is going nowhere, this has no benefit. And in reality, the place that you're in now might be the right opportunity for you. It might be with the right people to get you exactly what you want, but you might have to be a little bit more patient to let it happen. Consider this. Stop running, stop jumping from one thing to the next, and stop hiding. Start discovering what is the real reason for the restlessness. Then you can move from being restless to being restful, experiencing a calm mind, a relaxed body, and the perfect fit for your life. Thank you for joining me for this episode. May you continue to grow in hope, in faith, and in love.